I've seen the MRI, and I mean, effectively the bone was granulated.
Yeah, I don't think it was that big. I'll be honest, I think the bone was
maybe
dust.
I had it on Zoom.
Yeah. No, it was dust. There was nothing there. And that's what high velocity round does. You know, and often when I've worked with young people nowadays and talk about gun crime and things like that, you know, bullets are designed to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And even, you know, us that are trained to work with firearms, you know, they don't care who or what you are. They've only got one job, and that is to do as much damage as they can.
Okay, so you went through all of that, and then you started your rehab. And obviously now you have got a lifestyle which, you know, you seem fairly well together, fairly confident. But did you anticipate the pitfalls when you were going through the rehab and the recovery?
I think something to bear in mind is that when you're in the military, it's very black and white. You survive or you don't, and none of us really considered the grey area.
Okay.
Rehab was for people with sports injuries, and so to wake up in the hospital and be told you've lost your sight, you know, all you can focus on is everything that's gone, everything you lost. You know, I knew that my career was over. I'd lost my job. I assumed I'd lost my future. But the military throws perspective at you very quickly, and the deep dark hole that I was in, and the thoughts that were going through my head were very quickly erased when I found out that 2 people I knew had been killed.
Right.
And all of a sudden then you suddenly start to realise that, you know, sitting here in a hospital bed whinging and carrying on when 2 other people didn't get the opportunity is not the way to move forward. I often describe it as a twist in my, or transformation, shall I say, in my attitude. I was no longer a victim. I'd become a survivor.
Okay.
And that was very much the focus of where I was going to go next. So when I came out of the hospital bed, I had every intention of getting on with life and doing what I could. The problem I had was I had no idea how to start that journey. And that's why I'm very grateful to the third sector, the likes of Blind Veterans UK, Hope for Heroes, because Blind Veterans UK gave me the rehabilitation, the tools, the training, and the confidence to push my boundaries, to realise that a lot of the things that I couldn't do were due to me not knowing how, not being able to.
Yeah.
And then Help for Heroes came along, and I started doing some bits and pieces with them, and what was great about them is they came around at a time where the military weren't very popular. We weren't liked, and we were often blamed for our own injuries, and some of us that were willing to stand up and talk about our injuries and the difficulties and challenges that they brought along were scorned. And then Help for Heroes came along and gave us a platform for those people who didn't scorn us, who believed in us, and it quickly became apparent that there was a lot of support. There was a lot of people out there that wanted to understand and wanted to give help, and that Help for Heroes was that platform for me to tell them, firstly, how they could help, but secondly, tell them, you know, what that help would do, and show people that, you know, with the right support, with the right backing, you know, much of adversity is overcomable. But the problem is, it's knowing, and you've got to have that attitude. You can be given all the best rehab tools in the world. If you don't have the attitude and you don't have the willingness to use them, then they will lead to no opportunities. And because of that thing that happened to me in hospital, worrying about those deaths, I had the willingness and I had the energy to use those opportunities that came my way, and I've been very fortunate that they've come along at a time when I've been able to take advantage of them as well.
So it was the adversity of your comrades that showed you that you had to push on with life?
Well,
if you'd have been a civilian with a similar injury, do you think you would have had that drive?
I think that the drive would have been there, but I don't know what the catalyst would have been to engage it, and that you say the adversity, the deaths. It was my understanding that I'd got away with it. It put perspective into my life. To say whether or not I'd have the drive, the energy, whether I'd have that sort of ability to do it as a civilian, I think it's different because I wasn't a civilian that long. But I think, again, I go back to what you said about instinct. I think it's in all of us. We just need that catalyst. We need that thing that engages it. You've got people who are in road traffic accidents, people with cancer, people who lose family members well before their time, and they still keep going, they still fight back. And that's without any military training. But I think the military training helps me, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's the only reason. I just think there's obviously something there inside me that could do it. I just needed that catalyst to do it.
Did you receive mental health support?
In the early stages, no. It wasn't until I realised I had serious anger issues and anxiety that I approached the military and said, while I was still serving, and I pushed for Sergeant Major, I said, something's not right, sir, I need help. And he was a really understanding bloke and a really nice bloke. He went, right, well, we'll get you in touch with the DCMH. And from that, I then went and did some counselling. I worked out what was wrong. And ironically, it wasn't my injuries that were the problem. What happened is I developed mental health issues from my time in Kosovo, and rather than dealing with it then, I buried my head in the sand. And when I got physically injured, I was no longer mentally strong enough to hold up all those barriers I'd done.
Right.
The physical injury opened the door for the subconscious to take over again and give my mental health a bit of a kick in, to be honest. But it was all stuff that I built up myself by not dealing with it when I should have. And then, through working with this guy at Catterick, I learned what the issues were. I learned about my triggers, and by learning about my triggers, I could then either avoid being in a situation or understand that it was happening, and that gave me then the tools and strategies I needed to deal with the mental health stuff. And like I say, nowadays I don't generally have too many issues. I have dark days, what we call a black dog day, where I don't want to engage with the world, and it's too much. But I generally I'll isolate myself on that day. I'll keep myself away from everybody, and then hopefully, the sun's going to come up tomorrow whether I like it or not. So hopefully it'll be a new start.
Did you ever feel like it was too much and you just wanted to stop? I still, not in a long time, but in the first couple of years, I couldn't see the end of the tunnel. Pardon the pun, but the only time I genuinely thought about ending it all was laid in the hospital bed before I found out about your friends.
And that's again that part of the thing that I felt such a bad person for even contemplating it, when you start thinking about what you leave behind. And I know for some people it's too much, and they can't deal with it, and sometimes you judge people that take their own lives, but I've been there. And I know when everything gets on top of you, you just can't focus on the right things. Rationale disappears. And I often think, was it courage or cowardice that stopped me? But yeah, I didn't make that decision. And then I got the catalyst I needed, and here I am now.